Hey guys, it's Amanda. Welcome back to my channel. I posted an initial video a long time ago, like a year and a half ago, and have not picked up the camera since then. Lots been going on, so I thought I would put on a little makeup today and have a chat with you and give you a few updates. So also, one of my barriers to posting content has been that I do not have the time, energy, inclination right now to edit videos. So what I really want to do is fashion, style, beauty, vlogging content, and that's pretty well impossible to do without editing. Part of my health issues affects my hands, and so it's really hard for me to do things like typing, clicking, etc. So anyway, also I'm sitting in a super creaky chair. I have no idea if my phone will pick it up, but presumably so. I'm a really big person, so if you were sitting under my butt, you'd probably be crying in pain too. So anyway, I didn't intend for this to be a makeup tutorial, but if you're curious what I'm using, I'll try to show a few things. I'm starting with Purito Cica Clearing BB Cream in the shades 21 and 23. I mixed the two to get what for me right now is a perfect shade. Also, all right, so last March, before the world went to hell, I did an initial video, like I said, and I had no idea what was coming with the pandemic or my own personal health. So I guess I'll touch on that first. I have rheumatoid arthritis, and it's pretty bad. I've had it for years, probably since I was a child. I knew I had arthritis when I was a teenager. It was diagnosed, but no one really talked about or tested for rheumatoid, and that's unfortunate. If I had known then what I know now and what I was going to be in for, I would have started treatment a lot sooner. So that's a regret. But anyway, I went back to my original rheumatologist, who is brilliant. She did some additional testing and has finally also diagnosed me with lupus. So I've been struggling to manage that, as well as my job and life in general. Especially, I work in a really demanding career, but it's been a lot to manage. I also have a motility disorder. I may have mentioned it in the last video, called gastroparesis. And that is usually because there's a damaged nerve in your stomach, which is what happened in my case. And you don't digest food properly anymore, which has been a challenge. I also was diagnosed with lipedema. Finally, it's becoming more mainstream to talk about and hear about. I initially thought about it because Anna O'Brien, whose online name, social media stuff is all under Glitter and Lasers, talked about her path to being diagnosed with lipedema. And I thought, yeah, that really sounds a lot like my body type and what I feel, what I'm going through, how my journey with weight has been. So just managing all of these things, plus the pandemic, plus all of a sudden working at home, has been a lot. At the same time, my really healthy husband, last fall got sick, and he's never been sick the entire time we've known each other in 15 years. No health issues whatsoever, really. He got sick. We didn't think a lot about it. Thought it was a stomach bug, but then he started having trouble breathing. So I thought, oh no, he's aspirated something into his lung. He might have pneumonia. We finally went to get a chest x-ray. They rushed him to the emergency room. Turns out he had a virus that attacked his heart, and caused myocarditis and put him into heart failure overnight. So he spent a few days in the hospital, and since then has been in kind of crummy, rundown condition a lot, and dealing with, health that is so poor, or his heart condition being severe enough that he may end up in heart transplant in the next couple of years. So that was a really serious thing. So we've kind of just been trying to take care of each other and do the best we can. But needless to say, making videos wasn't at the top of the list. So that's kind of where things stand with my health. I have tried a lot of drugs for my RA and lupus. I took a break for a while because they can be kind of hard on your body. And also because I was having issues with the staff at the rheumatology office. So I am going back to start a new infusion in a couple of weeks. I have no idea if that would be interesting to anyone. It's a 5-hour infusion that you do 2 weeks apart, and then you take a 6-month break, and then you do it again. So I'm a little intimidated about trying this particular drug. It's supposed to have some nasty side effects. But it should help with my RA and my lupus both. And hopefully I'll start feeling a lot better. Another thing I had reported on in my initial video was I thought I would be getting a panniculectomy. Surprise, surprise, the plastic surgery office had another patient with the same first name and last name, and someone new made a mistake and thought I was the one approved for surgery, and it turns out they hadn't even submitted my information to insurance. So we tried applying again. I'm moving on to the Denesomyrix. It says light 1. It's a bronzer, a cream bronzer. By the time we submitted my information, it was kind of out of date. They wanted some more documentation, so I still have not been able to have that done. If you're not familiar with the panniculectomy procedure itself, when you have a really low hanging stomach, which I do, it can cause health problems, mobility problems. It can really contribute to a lot of back pain, which mine is. You can get infections under the belly, stuff like that. So a panniculectomy is oftentimes covered by insurance. It's not a full tummy tuck. They don't do any kind of reconstruction. They don't take anything off of your upper belly. They do not tighten your abdominal muscles. It's just a very crude chop and stitch situation, but you basically end up slit from hip to hip, and they remove all the hanging skin and fat that's there. So I weigh a lot. Since puberty, I've weighed a lot, and continued to increase. Now I've lost a lot of weight since I had a car accident a while back and spent 6 months in the hospital and another couple years at home rehabilitating, getting some wound care and stuff like that. But I gained a lot of weight while I was on bed rest for such a long period of time. And because I have lipedema, my weight just got really out of control. So I've lost about 100 pounds, and along with that, my stomach fell. So it really hangs and it pulls on my back, and it's quite miserable. The next thing I'm going to use here is Holika Holika. This is a cream. It's called Jelly Dough blusher, but it's just a cream blush, and it actually comes with this little cushiony pad in it that I thought was silly at first, but I love the way it applies the blush. So this is well loved. Anyway, I am restarting the procedure with the plastic surgeon, and I'll meet with them soon. I've seen a lot of people get this done. I have a friend who's had it done that I'm really close with, and I know her journey, and I know how difficult it is to recover, and the risks for infection and all that good stuff, especially if you're diabetic, which I am. So I will meet with the plastic surgeon in a few weeks and try again to apply for insurance coverage. And if you're interested in that, I'm happy to document how it goes. He estimated, just by kind of lifting my pile of skin down there, that I probably would lose anywhere from 30 to 40 pounds just from that. It's a long recovery time because of all the inflammation and the fluid retention that happens. So we'll see how it goes, but yeah, definitely interested in that. And if you've had one, I definitely would enjoy in the comments hearing about your own journey. I'm going to put a little MAC paint pot in soft ochre up here to prime my eyes. I think I mentioned that through all of this health stuff, and just genetically, I suppose, I've lost quite a bit of hair. And you probably can see that my hair is really, really thin right here. Plus, from that car accident, I have a scar that goes from here to here. And there was a big section of scalp and hair that had to be cut out. It was just kind of hanging off my head. So I lost hair. And the treatments caused me to lose hair, and all the just not good health has caused me to lose a lot of hair. So I was going to see a clinic about hair restoration that's local to me in Indianapolis, and I did go see them, but boy, is it expensive. They didn't think, because the type of hair loss and where the follicles stand on my head and how many of them are now dormant, they didn't think there was a lot they could do in terms of laser or there's a plasma, some kind of a plasma treatment they can do to bring some life and hair growth back to your scalp. They didn't think there was too much they could do for me. So basically what they recommended is prosthetic hair, not just a wig. I've tried wigs, but they're really uncomfortable. I have kind of a flat occipital bone, so wigs don't stay on me very well. They're really hot. I need to be able to pull my hair back a lot because I have fibromyalgia and my face just cannot stand to be touched. So anyway, the hair restoration was going to be really exorbitant in price. So I may do it at some point. I'm not opposed to it. It was just really expensive, but essentially they would map my scalp and I would shave my head, or at least a portion of my head up here. The hair on the bottom and the back of my head grows well, but it would have been thousands of dollars to get a hairpiece made that they apply with medical adhesive. Then you go back in once a month or so, every 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, and have the hair either a new one remade, or they take it off, clean it up, reapply it. They can do styling, cuts, coloring, all that kind of stuff on it. I think they use all natural human hair, but I'm sure there are options if you want synthetic hair. And when I say thousands, I think the initial, depending on how many hair pieces you go through, it's between $6,000 and $9,000 a year to have all that done, and it depends on how many servicing appointments you have to have a stylist work with your hair. So supposedly you can swim in the hair, you can wash it, you can style it, you can pull it back. It's supposed to be very natural, but the thought of shaving my head is scary. Nonetheless, I would really like to have a huge big pile of hair again, so who knows, if I ever strike it rich somehow, maybe I'll consider it. I'm moving next on to my Sigma, which one is this, Warm Neutrals palette, and I'm using this awesome, this is a Sigma brush, 40 HD precision brush. It has a really great shape on the end. It's like a square that's been chiseled down almost into like a pyramid type shape. So I really like that for setting just a little bit under my eyes. I'm not doing anything fancy with makeup today. I'm just going to run a few errands with my husband. Even driving has gotten hard, so I'm really grateful that he drives me around to do things. So that's what's up with hair restoration. It's kind of stagnated for right now. Another thing that I talked about in that video, in fact, I think the initial image said intermittent fasting at 400 pounds, which I tried for a long time and I still do to some degree. Part of the reasons I was interested was to help manage my health, manage my pain, but also to try to get some weight off. I would consider myself kind of body neutral. I really don't care what other people look like. I don't care what people think about what I look like to some degree, as long as I'm clean and, present myself well. But the size my body is really hard to live, which is one thing, but it's really, really hard in combination with my diseases. I'm in constant agony, even with, seeing a pain specialist and doing all kinds of treatments for pain. It's really miserable. So I would like to lose weight and feel better, both. So intermittent fasting helps me quite a bit. I never lost weight with it. I was like, what is going on? Once you lose, for me, once I would lose about 10 pounds, 15 pounds of water weight, I've always stagnated for my entire life that I've been gaining weight. So I didn't know initially that I had lipedema, which really can pack on a lot of weight. From what I understand with lipedema, when there's inflammation in your body, your lymph fluid can drain into fat cells. So they are extraordinarily resistant to weight loss attempts. There are now becoming special types of plastic surgeons who can work on the type of fat that lipedema creates. And I've seen, there's a surgeon that's on Instagram that has a lipedema treatment center in California, and I can link him below if I remember. He's amazing, and he's done work on a lot of women who have lipedema, and they show what the fat looks like when they take it off. And some of the fat nodules range from little bean-looking pieces to like big, massive, almost ping pong ball sized lumps. So he says, and my regular PCP, primary care provider, have said, don't expect to lose weight if you have lipedema without having liposuction. My insurance does not cover that. I have insurance through my employer, and it's really common that insurance does not cover liposuction for any reason, even if it's medically necessary, which mine would be. So I may at some point try to start figuring out saving up or setting aside funds to begin liposuction, especially on my legs. And lipedema commonly occurs in women who have a bottom heavy build, so around your thighs, your butt, your hips, and your lower legs. It's not the same as lymphedema. They can have similar mechanisms of how they work, but a different thing occurs in the body. It's something that you should look up if you think it might apply to you, or if you're just interested. I'm certainly no medical professional. I just read, and I'm so overwhelmed by managing all the conditions that I have that, yeah, it's a lot to try to remember the details. Anyway, intermittent fasting. So it does great things to help manage inflammation and pain in my body. So I've not gained any weight, which is really great. To say that you have lipedema plus all the other things I have going on and to stop gaining is a success. It is really, really great to stop gaining weight. I don't know if that's sustainable, but especially with gastroparesis. So what I realized intermittent fasting is that my gastroparesis takes precedence. There are a lot of dietary restrictions when you have a disorder where you cannot digest and process food normally. So the gastroparesis diet is typically eating things like white bread, white pasta, stuff like that, the applesauce. That's really easy for your stomach to break down, which means it usually is processed food, which is totally opposing of what I normally would eat. I would be very content to eat a vegetarian diet. With gastroparesis, most people cannot tolerate raw vegetables, vegetables with skin, lots of fat. I can't have peanut butter, although I can have some other types of nuts. Like I eat sunflower butter instead of peanut butter, which I never knew was so delicious. It's the closest nut butter I've found to tasting like peanut butter. So that was kind of a win. By the way, I'm using a BH Cosmetics angled brush here to do my crease, which makes really quick work of not having to blend too much. So I realized with intermittent fasting it might not be entirely sustainable because a lot of folks in my position eat 5 or more small meals a day to manage their digestion and take a lot of serious medications to try and manage digestion. It's a constant battle, and so not to, I apologize for being graphic, but I tried eating a salad a few weeks ago, and it must have just been the wrong day, the wrong time. It may have had garlic and onions in it, which is another thing I have to try to avoid. I ended up with throwing up and almost the worst diarrhea of my life for about 8 to 10 days, to the point that I couldn't keep water down. I couldn't keep medicine down. I was even in withdrawals from some of the meds that I take, and I couldn't tolerate them. So I'm still recovering from the major dehydration. In fact, I don't know if it's showing up on camera. One of the reasons I picked this cream makeup today is because my face is so darn dry still, and my hair's dry, and my organs are dry, and everything feels crusty just from being so dehydrated. But these issues for me happen a lot. It becomes kind of a normal way of life. So the idea of filming something is difficult. Nonetheless, I still really want to document what I'm going through, and have fun with how much I enjoy fashion and style. So that's kind of enough of touching on everything from my initial video. So where things are going. If I can find ways to document videos or find someone to help with editing, I'm going to try to produce some content. One of the only places that I can shop is Torrid. I'm a size 6 at Torrid, and even at that, I'm on the larger end of their size 6. They have certain pants, and almost none of their jeans ever fit. I'm 5'4". So, my height isn't an issue, but the size of my badonk is definitely an issue. So I'm bottom heavy, but I'm also big on all sides of my body. My hips are big, my stomach is big, my butt is big. So I'd like to put out content that, other folks in my size range would benefit from. Torrid's not the cheapest place to shop, especially they've had a price hike when they started offering free returns. Prices went up significantly. There are a few other retailers that I like to use. I love Eshakti, which is an Indian clothing company. They do a lot of bespoke clothing, so you can have them custom make to your measurements. I've been using them for, probably 10 or more years, probably about 10 years. And I absolutely love their clothing. So I have things to share. And so Candy Fox is someone that I enjoy watching on YouTube, but our builds are totally different. So even though it's nice to see someone else of significant size in social media, I think there's space for a lot more of us to put out content and share because of how complicated life can be. So look for that to come. I'm doing the best I can. And yeah, if you guys are going through similar things, if you're interested in following along that journey, I would love to share. I guess that's about all I have to say for today. So I am putting on mascara, and I am going to run out the door with the old man and do a few errands. But also let me know, are you more interested in vlogs or just clothing try-ons? What content interests you the most? And we'll see how it goes. Ideally, when things loosen back up with COVID, and if I get this procedure done and get a little more mobile again, I think producing vlogs would be interesting. That's at least what I enjoy the most out of YouTube. So thanks for letting me ramble. Thanks for listening if you stuck around. And I guess that's all. I will try to see you all again soon. Take care.